My community. Yo, we here. We did it. We're back live from Los Angeles. What it do? I went and got my hair cut, got a little cleaned up for you. Beautiful Queen One, I see you. Classic Bobo, what's good? Balesha Boutique, yo, I appreciate you tapping back in, one of my day ones. What up, B4 Easy? Smiles by 33, what's good? Lena Bill, I see you. Shakila, what's good? Omar, Self-Care Momo, bring it back. Y'all come back. Nicole Marie, I see you, girl. Mrs. Jen Mocha, I see you. Oh my God, Brazilian. You're silly. Kim Slim Jim, I see you. Valsonic, we here. What's your reaction to the bashing you got from What up, One Polish? Adem, I see you. Debbie Honey, we good. They want to know what my vibes are like since the show. My community was good. Y'all like it with me. Sure Love, one of my day ones. Sure Love 16, one of my day ones. What's good? Marshall, what's good? Blue Vengeance. Omar, I see you, bro. What's good? Benny D, what's good? Oh my God, Brazilian. I told you once now. Shit, now I gotta get rid of you because you talking that nasty. I don't even know who you are. That's crazy. Y'all are crazy. What's good, YG Matic? Let's say what's up to my community. Greetings from Germany. AAS Nuke, I see you. 100K Day, my community. So many want to know what's your reaction to all of it. My life really hasn't changed that much since the video. Darius Porter was good. Sylvia Wings, I see you. Kim Slim Jim from Chicago. Chi-Town was good. Y'all stay tuned. Ghost 2819. Felicia Motioniqua, I see you, girl. Kearney Girl 03. My life has been pretty amazing since the show, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I've got a lot of hate. Yeah, we got the cut going today. We fresh right now. We fresh. Good morning from Australia. Amanda, I see you. Stop being so beautiful. Blasphemy. What's the topic tonight? Tonight, we got some interesting things to talk about tonight. But first, somebody wanted to know how I've been doing since the show, all the backlash, all of the attention. This has been a great opportunity for me. 2 lives in one day. Y'all get ready. Y'all about to see me. Y'all gonna see my face a lot these next couple of weeks. I appreciate it, you guys. You had to go get a haircut, had to get cleaned up, had to get fresh, had to, sometimes you gotta shed the pad, you gotta chop it up a little bit. Still single since the show. Yes, I am still single. I am still out in these streets. Oh man. I should write a book on how my life has been since the show because it's been different. I'm not gonna lie. I got people in my DMs offering me all kinds of things, but it has helped me remain authentic to what I want and what I say that I need for my peace and my happiness. Oh, how are you, Countess Batheroy 7? What's good? What's good? My community, we out here. Sure Love, I see you. My community and the clouds, I see you. So my life has been interesting since the show. Do you react to the edits people make of you? No, I don't. Shorty Love Javon, Queenie, no liabilities. Nah, we here. Queenie Candace, what's good? Yes. Who's your dentist? That's funny. I actually got a shirt. Y'all go to my shop here. I'll pick up y'all shirts if you haven't already. AJD Cruz, I see you. Do you think the show was bad for the black community? I don't even know how to answer that. That's a good question, though. I think the show was good to highlight the bullshit that goes on in the African American community. How about that? Made the show. Y'all haven't been watching it since I haven't been on. I think people try and go on there and like make a point, make a name for themselves by bashing other people. That's not what I did. If you guys notice, I was actually keeping it real, too real for their ego. Never forget the three things a woman must do to keep their man. Yes, never forget. Y'all remember the three things? Y'all remember? What's the first thing? The first thing, being useful. You got to be useful to your partner. And this goes for men and women. Let's be real. It's not just women, but it better be. Like, you better hold it down, because if you don't, then what's the point? Men are naturally useful, right? So we're going to come into every situation trying to figure out how we can be useful. We try to figure out how we can be useful in our own lives, to the world around us. When we have partners, it's even more important to make sure that we're useful. And the women need to be useful as well. The women in my life each have a specific purpose, even if that's just for cuddles, even if it's just for a good conversation, even if it's just for whatever it is, it's important. But it's even more important to have that relationship where you know this is what my partner needs to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel helped. We are talking about it today. I appreciate you promoting mental health on the show. I'm going to school to become an LMFT. All right, good stuff, good stuff. Yo, let's see who wants to nastiest things. You let them know, Omar. You got to figure out the nastiest, craziest thing they done, and then blow their mind in the bedroom, and then they won't have to go nowhere. You already know. Yo, we got a guest on the live today. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you? Tell us your name, where you from, where you at.
My name is Erica Claudio. I'm originally from Brooklyn, but I'm currently in Los Angeles at the moment.
Erica, nice to meet you. Thank you for hopping on my live today. Say what's up to my community.
Hello, community. Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing?
Everybody say hello to Erica. Now, Erica, let my community know who you are, what you do, what you're about, and how you are impacting the world around us today.
Awesome. Well, my name is Erica Claudio. I'm the founder of the My Body PAC. It's a political action committee committed to reproductive justice this election, and I'm really
Mhm.
excited to be tapping in with you guys' community. What's up?
Yo, okay, so your mission, especially this election season, is to spread awareness about reproductive health and the laws that influence it and the awareness that we can all have to help impact our local communities, right?
100%. The fight for human rights, especially reproductive rights, is
Mhm.
a local fight, meaning that this year, as we head to the polls for VP Kamala Harris or any of the federal elections that are happening, we can also make sure that we go down ballot and secure our rights to our reproductive health in certain parts of this country.
So I'll be the first to say I don't really care about politics. I feel exhausted when I think about politics, when I think about politicians telling us what we should and shouldn't do. I get exhausted. But this, I feel, is so important to have an awareness around. No matter who's elected, no matter what happens in the election, your awareness around sexual reproductive health and is so important. Tell us about why it's important to care about
Yeah,
this.
because like regardless of if you're a Democrat, Republican, white person, black person, poor person, rich person, like we all deserve to be free. Like none of us should be told what to do with our bodies, what to do with our lives. And autonomy is exactly just that. Autonomy means that you have the right as an individual to say, hey, I have sanctity and sovereignty over my body. I get to do what I want to do with my body. So the only way that we can really galvanize around that is by organizing at a local level, because what the overturn of Roe v. Wade did was it took away our right to bodily autonomy, which is why after Roe v. Wade you see things like gay marriage and you see things like voting rights being peeled back. And it's because of the precedent that was taken away with that legislation. So it's so much bigger than just, reproductive health. It's really about personal freedom and autonomy over your life. Is now a local fight, so we gotta show up locally.
I love that. I love that. So I'm I'm learning as I go. Let's be real. Talk
Yeah.
to us a little bit more about how Roe v. Wade influenced us on a on a local level?
Yeah. On a local level, there's certain parts of the country where you have access to reproductive health care, and then there's other parts of the country where you just don't, right? So a person in LA, where I'm at, like we have access because our state government, Governor Gavin Newsom, and our state legislators have decided to protect the right to bodily autonomy for the state. But our neighbors, like Arizona, for example, they don't necessarily have access to reproductive health care simply because their state leadership has decided that that's not necessarily a constitutional right. So
Right.
state by state, freedom looks differently, including voting. In Texas,
Interesting.
people cannot even go online to register to vote anymore. They took online registration
Really?
away from Texas. There's
Um,
so many attacks
right.
happening at a local level, and it's so confusing, right, to keep up with
Yeah.
because it's so different every state, every city. It's hard to have a national conversation around it, because
Right.
everyone's experience around it is very different, and that's a part of the strategy to keep folks confused.
What an interesting take, because I didn't know that it varied state by state in that way. I thought the president wins, and then that's what laws are going to be embedded into each state. So each person basically needs to go to their local legislation website or each state and figure out who they need to vote for in
Yeah,
order to maintain sovereignty over their
yeah.
body, right?
You go to your Secretary of State website. So if you go to Google and you type in your state name and then you type in
Hmm.
Secretary of State, it'll pop
Hmm.
up. And on that
Hmm.
page is where you can get all of your information about your election. It's the same place you go to register a business. The same place you go to
Okay.
register a business is the same place you go to register to vote, Secretary of State. And on there you can see your sample ballot. You can go to your Secretary of State website, go to the
Hmm.
elections tab, no matter where you live, the Secretary of State for everywhere you are. And then on there, you
Hmm.
can find your sample ballot where you can see all of your local races and statewide ballot measures in your state. And now you have time. You have now until probably, November to be able to do your research and get to know
Hmm.
some of your local folks. And those folks
Hmm.
are actually way more accessible than anyone else. Like
Hmm.
you can pick up the phone and call your city council member and probably get coffee with them sooner
Really?
than you probably. Yeah, absolutely. Those folks are way more
Interesting.
reachable, and they shift policy faster. Like it's gonna take a generation
Mm-hmm.
before we have. It might take a few more, like maybe a few more administrations until we can really
Hmm.
codify abortion access and reproductive justice at a national level again. But
Sure.
as early as November, places like Pennsylvania, Florida, and Arizona, they can vote it back into law at a statewide level on election day. So it's a really great opportunity we have at this, moment to reinstate some of these rights locally.
Interesting. So, what are some things that I can do right now today to help impact the results in November?
One of the things that people can do right now is one, just update your registration status to vote.
Okay.
There's been a lot of people who have purged the polls, meaning that after 2020, when we had the contested election in January 6th, a lot of people purged the polls for people who are registered to vote. So, and sometimes
What does that mean? What does that mean? Purge the polls?
meaning like they basically people who were formerly registered might not be registered anymore. So it's
No
important.
way.
Yeah, it's really important to update your
Dang.
registration status, and you find that out on your Secretary of State website as well. You go there to update your status, and say you've
Okay.
moved. Like say you've moved since the last election. Say
Mm-hmm.
you move cities or you move apartments or you move states. Now you have to reestablish your voter registration status.
Mm-hmm.
So you have until October 7th of this year to register to vote in time for the
Okay.
November election. So right now,
Okay.
that's one place you can start. It's just getting registered. And then the second place
Mm-hmm.
is, like I said, go to your Secretary of State website, pull your sample ballot from the elections tab, and start to just
Mm-hmm.
see who's on your ballot, see what's on your ballot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
start to have like a dialogue about it. I know it probably feels intimidating, and it's designed that way, which is why it's such a radical
Yes.
act to just decide to go to your state. No one knows that. No one knows
Right.
Secretary of State. I can find my sample ballot, but now you know.
Right.
So now you
Right.
can go learn some stuff.
Right. I mean, Kendrick said it in his last song, right? Once upon a time, all of us was in chains. So we know that we haven't been able to do this for a long time. And so it's important to actually have your voice heard. And for me, I've always felt like my voice doesn't matter, my vote doesn't matter. But after talking to you a little bit more, I'm starting to find out that it happens on the local level.
That's
So
the
if I want to
only
have
place
an
it really
impact,
matters. Like the electoral college is fucked, man. Like it takes
hmm
away. Like Hillary Clinton won by 3 million votes in 2016, but still lost the electoral college, right? That
hmm
kind of fucks us at a federal level in a few ways.
right,
But where it's a vote, every vote matters. Is
hmm
truly at a local level and
yeah,
in your primaries.
sure, sure. So talk to us a little bit how you got involved in this. Why are you so passionate about making this change? Why are you so passionate about spreading the word? Why do you care so much?
Well, one, because I'm a woman in America. I'm
Hmm.
a black woman in America. And, this issue impacts us most importantly. Black women die 3 times higher of the rate at childbirth than white women do. So this issue impacts us
Hmm.
way more than any other
Hmm.
person or any other people. But I got
Sure.
to start. I started actually organizing electoral politics in 2013 in
Hmm.
Atlanta. At that time with Mayor Kasim Reed, and I've gone on to organize for Bernie Sanders, Stacey Abrams, Senator Booker,
Hmm.
and I feel passionate about it is because, I kind of stumbled into it, but I
Hmm.
recognize that this is how people build power. The
Yeah.
conservative groups who are very much so trying to make America great again, they
Hmm.
understand government, and Project 2025 is a localized plan to change
Hmm.
policies at a local level. So
Hmm.
they you
Hmm.
see how places like Arizona and Florida, they've still been able to pass things like book bans, right? Because they are organizing locally just as much as they're organizing federally. So if all of us on the other side who really want to make America more inclusive, if we learned how to do the same thing but for the issues that we feel passionate about, then,
Right.
we would have a lot more progress. So my passion is in just educating people about
Right.
how it works, creating a really accessible, low barrier to entry point to the process, and
Hmm.
then just empowering folks to make empowered decisions. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, what to vote for, but I want
Right.
you to understand that local politics really do control how you operate in this country and dictate your day-to-day life. It really, really does.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm really proud of you for the work that you're doing because I don't know enough about it to have a valid opinion, but I do care about authenticity, autonomy, and sovereignty of one's body. And I don't know how if I was a woman, I don't know how I would be able to move forward feeling comfortable knowing that if something happened to me, the government would have my back, or at the very least, they would make it accessible for me to make the decision that I want to make for
Yeah,
myself. And
even
so,
in cases of like rape, even in
hmm
cases of rape or
hmm
sexual assault, even
hmm
in cases of near-death experiences, pregnancy
hmm
is a very dangerous thing for a woman, period.
yeah,
Like, no matter, it's a
right,
dangerous thing. It's like a portal for life from one
yes,
end to the other. It's dangerous. And not
yes,
everybody has the most successful pregnancy. So for women who have complicated pregnancies early to their term, even
hmm
women who live in Atlanta who want babies but can have to terminate them due to complicated reasons, they would have to go all the way to Chicago, just to be able to access
So,
care.
wait, are you saying that it's not just for people who just want, I accidentally got pregnant, I want an abortion? This is for women who, if they have a complicated pregnancy, they still wouldn't be able to get the care that they
Yeah,
needed.
doctors in these places with these bans and restrictions, the woman would have to be
Hmm.
near death, almost dead, in order for them to
What?
perform the medical abortion that would be needed to save the woman or the baby's life.
It's
And
fascinating.
it's literally, or the doctor could lose their license. They could lose their license to practice,
Mm.
and the woman,
Mhm.
it's a felony. In a lot of states,
Mhm.
it's a felony for the doctor and the woman. So, and in some places, it's also a felony if they find out that you crossed the border to get an abortion. So, like in places like Texas,
Sure.
it's considered a
Sure.
felony if they find out that
Mhm.
you went to Chicago or you went to California to access care. You and the people that help you get across state lines
That's
can go to jail for a felony.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so let me make sure I'm understanding this right. Let's say I need to get an abortion and I went across state lines to get it. they could still prosecute me in my state for doing that.
Certain states, yeah. A
That's
few states have that
crazy.
rule, yeah. Mhm.
That's so scary. So I was actually just talking to my mother about this the other day, and regardless of who you vote for, how you feel about abortion, there seems like there's an opportunity for a black market to come to power if the restrictions are upheld, right?
It
Because
is
people are
already a
still
black
gonna
market. There's already a black market.
wait,
Absolutely. Absolutely. People
wait.
die when they don't have access to the reproductive health care that they need. It is a very serious thing. I mean,
Hmm.
reproductive health care is not exclusive to abortion access. We're talking about
Sure.
breast cancer screenings, ovarian cancer screenings. All of
Mm.
these things are included in
Sure.
this. It's also a transgender issue and a queer issue for folks who
Interesting.
are non-binary individuals who are trying to control, their bodies to be able to, transition to the gender that they identify with. Like, this is an intersectional issue that even impacts men.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of
Hmm.
those things that, yes, it is one of those things where it could be a black market, but it is a black
Right.
market. We haven't had access for 2 years. So in a lot of parts of this country, there are like dark channels that people do go through to
Hmm.
access care.
And that makes me, as a healthcare professional, that makes me scared because you're going to have other healthcare professionals putting their licenses on the line, and you're going to have other people stepping up who are not qualified to do those types of surgeries, doing those surgeries. So the repercussions and the potential consequences for practicing medicine outside of a facility or outside of a standard healthcare facility is dangerous and scary. And I couldn't imagine my sister or my auntie or my cousin having to go through an experience like that just for their own health and
It's
life decision.
humiliating. It's a humiliating thing. It's already something that's extremely personal. It's really nobody's business between
Hmm.
yourself and your doctor. It's no different than any other medical condition or medical
Right.
operation. It really is no one's business. And the thing
Right.
about it is, for folks who might disagree with the operation as a whole, then you don't get it.
Mhm.
Then you don't get it then.
Right.
But how are you
Right.
going to tell
Right.
other people what works for them? Like, some people like apples, some people like oranges. If you don't like oranges, don't eat fucking oranges. But now are you going
Exactly.
to outlaw oranges across America because you don't like them? Like, that's not democracy.
Exactly.
That's authoritative
Right.
government, and that's not cool.
Right.
What if I told
Right.
everybody that they had to wear Nikes versus Adidas? Because
Right.
I like Nikes more. Now everybody who has Adidas gets
Right.
a felony? Get the fuck out of here. Like, that's crazy. That's
Crazy. That's
insane.
crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So I'm officially nervous about the potential of what could happen in November. I want to spend this week really educating my community, educating myself, putting myself in a position where I can be of service and I can put my people around me in a position where they understand the power that they have. Talk about the power that we have as common folk to understand, gain knowledge, and implement some of the changes that we're talking about.
Well, you guys can follow my pack, the My Body Pack. We're going to be full of voter education content around, the election and ways to be powerful, but at a high level. The first thing you can do right now is just start to have conversations with your friends and family about
Right.
everything that we talked about here, regardless of where you stand on the spectrum, whether you're Democrat, Independent,
Mhm.
Republican, or in the
Mhm.
middle. I personally feel like, you just start by educating yourself and others around you, and it feels intimidating. But if you think about
Sure.
it like this, you have city, you have
Mhm.
state, you have federal. Okay?
Mhm.
So if you could just,
Mhm.
at the very minimum, go to your Secretary of State website, update your registration status, and pull your sample
Mhm.
ballot, that enough
Okay.
is very powerful. Because now you
Okay.
have the opportunity to vote, and you
Mhm.
also now have the information you need to be able to see what you're going to be voting on, and you have between
Yeah.
now and November to make an educated decision on where and how to cast your vote.
Mm.
And these folks who are earning your vote, they have to really earn it.
Sure.
They have to really earn it. So you can literally call them and be like, hey, I hear you're running for office and you're running on
Mhm.
a policing reform platform. I'd love
Mhm.
to grab coffee or see if I can come to
Mm-hmm.
your next campaign event to really learn about this, because my cousin is a victim of police violence, and I really want to be more involved on that. That's how you
Sure.
do that. You pick up the phone and you call your mayor, right? And you say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
like, whether they're running for re-election or not, just help. I have an issue with the fact that my property taxes has increased 4 times in the past however many years. Like, can we sit down and
Right.
have a genuine conversation about this? It's about
Yeah.
opening your mouth. You can be
Yeah.
powerful by speaking up, but just know who
Right.
you got to talk to.
Yes.
And it's a process. So it's I'm happy to be helpful. Our PAC is
Sure.
here to empower folks with really cool, culturally relevant ways to get involved in
Mm-hmm.
the process.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you asking that question. But yeah, it's just about opening your mouth and being
Yeah.
unapologetically patriotic to your values, what you want to
Mm.
see, and letting folks know, like, because we pay these folks bills and mortgages with our property taxes and our taxes that we pay. So at the
That
very
part.
least, they can pick up the phone and make time to talk to us for about 15 minutes before
Yeah.
they ask for us to go vote. So
Yes. Yes.
I'm big on that. I'm real big on that.
I'm gonna be knocking down these people's doors and seeing if they want to come on the live and talk with DR.ELOM, because it's important. And okay, before all of this even happened, I am finding it challenging to get people excited about stuff like this. I wasn't even really that excited about it till Biden dropped out. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest. I was
see,
like,
you
oh
and
shit,
everybody else. Everybody was
Kamala's
like,
running
what?
now. Shit. Let's. I can be real. I'm gonna be
Please.
real. I didn't even give a fuck.
Yeah. None of us did, honestly.
But we here now because now I feel like I can. I don't want to say my vote matters any more than it did before, but I feel like my impact can be more powerful than it was before, because now I'm understanding that it's not about Biden, Trump, Kamala. It's about the people who are in your local state making the rules, and those people you actually have access to. So we're going to test it this week. We are going to bring people on this
Yep.
live, and I'm going to reach out to the people who I can reach out to and see how accessible they are. Let's
Exactly.
see
Let's do
if
it.
I can actually make an impact in this government. Let's see if they really fucking with me.
Yeah. And
We
see,
about to find
if you
out.
guys have any followers, your followers should put their state in the chat, and then you should pick somebody from your follower state. Let's see where
That's a
are
great
you
idea.
guys tuning in from? So let's see if
Hmm.
we can get one of your local elected officials to join the
Hmm.
live this week
Hmm.
and chit
Yeah.
chat about what you want to know.
Yeah. 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 I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to see what impact we can have. And I'm excited for people to have autonomy,
Yes,
for people to have sovereignty over their bodies. That's one of the biggest flexes in my life. I feel that I can wake up every morning and do basically what I want to do. It's a gift, but that shouldn't be something that should be taken away just because they want to control what women do with their body. They want to control the birth rate. They want to control how people are interacting and having sex and doing baby. No, no, no. That you can't control that. That's not something that you can control. So let's keep the sovereignty where it belongs, and that's in the hands of the people themselves.
exactly. That's really what democracy means too. Like the idea of personal freedom is actually an underscore of what democracy is defined by. Democracy is
Hmm.
defined by a collective of individuals who get to decide individually
Right.
how they want to live amongst each other. Every 4 to 2 years, we get an opportunity to have a peaceful transition of power, meaning we don't have to go to war to decide
Hmm.
how we want to
Hmm.
do things. We get to go to the
Right.
polls, and that's a big privilege. A large percentage of the global population do not have access to that type of government infrastructure. So it's important that
Hmm.
we take
Hmm.
advantage of that, because these motherfuckers on the other side are trying to take that away for real. And Donald Trump just
For
said
real.
on a rally not too long ago, he said, "You guys, Christians will never have to vote again." That's crazy to say something like
Yeah.
that. You know, like,
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't really follow him there, but that, that's
it
crazy.
is. It really is. And I see so many people are in the chat having different amount of discourse, and this is what it's about. I don't think there's any wrong thing to say in this moment. It really
Right.
is about beginning to just have the conversation and being open to
Hmm.
just learning something new and
Right.
understanding this from a different point of view.
Right.
Understanding this from a more educated, more grounded, and informed point of view.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. And it takes just a little bit of effort to figure out who you want to be, what, like, who you want to vote for, who you want to support, what each person is doing. Just a little bit of effort, but it's better than the alternative of just kind of sitting back waiting what happens, and then all of a sudden now you got to call your black market doctor to try and get an abortion because you didn't take the time to vote. So I am going to do a solid by myself, by all the women in my life, and by my family, and actually voting and understanding and learning and figuring out how we can have autonomy, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. How
About
can we
having a right.
continue
So
to
if you
have
don't want to
autonomy?
have an abortion, you want to have the right to be able to say no. I don't want to do that. If you do, you want to be able to
Hmm.
have the right to say hell yeah, sign me up. It really is that simple, and it's really nobody's business. Is everybody going around saying, hey, I got my period, or I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant?
Right.
No, it's nobody's business. A woman's body is actually a spiritual thing. It's a
Hmm.
spiritual experience to have sex with a woman. We all know this.
Hmm.
Anyone who's ever had sex with a
Hmm.
woman knows that that is a spiritual experience. So don't
Yes.
play with God. Don't play with God's favorite. He chose our bodies to be vessels of life,
Right.
and it's a personal decision to go on
Hmm.
that journey. It's a huge, it takes a huge toll on a lot of people's, not just on their physical bodies, on their finances, on their mental health and their emotional health. And women deserve to be properly prepared and empowered to make that decision when and
Hmm.
if they choose to make that decision. And people in general deserve to have the right to, not have the government interfere with their personal lives, whether it be autonomy over our bodies, autonomy over the people that we
Yes.
love, autonomy over
Yeah.
our gender and identity, autonomy over how
Hmm.
we vote. All of these things
Hmm.
are important. And again, with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, the legal
Hmm.
precedent that it protected as a constitutional
Hmm.
right was personal bodily autonomy.
Right.
Pulling back that right from us underneath that law created opportunities
Right.
for them to take away rights from gay people, take away rights from black people, take away rights from all different marginalized groups ever since then.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
definitely
Hmm.
worth looking into and worth paying attention to,
100%.
because it's not a political thing. It really is personal, and there's a
Yeah.
culture around it that we can galvanize folks into and do some
Hmm.
cool stuff. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing is recognizing that this isn't a professional thing anymore. This is a personal endeavor. This is an opportunity to ingratiate the culture, to indulge in the things that are actually important when it comes to what your life is going to look like when you decide to have a baby or not decide to have a baby, because no one is immune to the trials of life. It can happen to anyone at any time. It's not going to happen to me because I got a vasectomy, but it's possible. And somebody else is in the comments too talking about, I'm going to get real. I'm going to call him out right now. What's his name? EV underscore the goat said should have kept her legs closed. I'm gonna call out all the guys right now because a baby will not be born without the ejaculation from a man. What does that mean? That means you get to decide where you put your stuff. You get to decide where you finish. I know that sounds
Yeah,
terrible,
like
but
if your
men need to
your
take
pull out game is
responsibility.
whack, just say
Yeah,
that. Don't make it our fault. Shit, like if you can't get with it, then don't.
right?
Don't make it our fault. At the end of the day, it takes two to tango. It's Y. It's X X X Y. That's how you make a human. Okay,
We should
but
make a shirt. If your pullout game is whack, you should not clap back.
it's not up to you. Like it's not up to you. It's just not.
So we as men need to take responsibility for our actions. And if we can come together and at least put ourselves in a position that there's a safe space for us to not be okay, then that's all we really need.
That's all we really need is just cultivating spaces for us to get off our butt. Because here's
Yeah.
the thing, y'all. This is not a game. Like,
Yeah.
if right now we're talking about our bodies. If they're trying to regulate
Hmm.
our bodies, imagine what else is next. You know?
And yeah,
And I know, go ahead, keep going.
it's a slippery slope because even my urologist gave me kind of the side eye when I went in there. He was like, "You sure you want to do this, bro?" I'm like, "Yes, I want to do this." But in that moment, I felt like I had the power to say what I wanted. I had the power. Can you imagine not having that power? I would feel
I
so
can, because I'm currently a
helpless.
woman in this country that does not have that power. Thankfully, I live in California
Yeah.
where I have access to it at a local level. But if I ever have to
Hmm.
move to another city or somewhere else, I will not
Hmm.
be able to access it as a woman in this country.
Right.
And honestly, past November, depending on what happens at a national level, it could be even worse. You know, we're talking about what people can do with their bodies. We're talking about what books
Hmm.
children can read in school. We're talking about how
Hmm.
people can vote and where they can register to
Hmm.
vote. I mean, these are like legitimate
Hmm.
ass attacks on human rights, no? You
Yes.
know? So it's like, yeah, you
Yes.
might not care about politics. Do you care about yourself? You know? Because if you care about
Yeah.
yourself, you be
Hmm.
paying attention to your local elections, because that's really where it's at.
100%. And you mentioned something earlier about the 2025 plan. I don't know enough about that to have a valid opinion. Can you give us the rundown really quickly on what that looks like and how that would affect us
They
moving
about to
forward?
blow up all of our black booty holes sometime Project 2025 if they get the chance to. Let's just be real. Like, they have a plan. It's real. Like, you go and you
Sure.
look it up. It's a real plan. It's an
Mhm.
organized strategy from a
Mhm.
local, state, and federal level
Mhm.
to really implement some really conservative policies across the country,
Mhm.
across every state.
Mhm.
Things like rolling back voting rights,
Okay.
things like rolling back choice, rolling back autonomy, things like really
Mhm.
making it illegal to be a gay person, making it illegal to be a trans
Mhm.
person, things like really taking away things like the FDA and taking away our federal regulations around climate. I mean, a lot of these things have already started to
Mhm.
happen in the Supreme Court, and what we're going to see through Project
Mhm.
25 is it's going to start happening at a state and local level too. So everything you see
Okay.
the Supreme Court doing, these Republicans through Project 25 are trying to do that at a local level and at a statewide level too. They
Mhm.
understand that local elections matter. And
Yeah.
that's why in places like Florida, in places like Arizona, in places like Ohio, you have these really conservative ways of life. You don't have
Yeah.
access to cannabis. You don't have access to abortion. You don't have access to health care. There's these are legitimate things. So Project 2025 is just a tighter grip and have more
Mhm.
conservative policies, but it's an
Mhm.
organized plan, meaning that if they win in
Mhm.
2024, this plan is something that they
Mhm.
will be able to implement, not just at a
Mhm.
federal level, but at a state and local level as well. And they're not fucking around. They really are coming
Yes.
for all people who are not white men,
Yeah.
Americans.
Yeah.
You know, that's their vision is clear. They just want white men to have dominant power, and they want to create all
Sure.
these laws to make sure that white men and their power and their dominance in society and the economy are never
Mhm.
threatened the way that it's currently being threatened. You see all these black billionaires? You see the
Sure.
fact that we have a black woman nominated for the United States of America
Mhm.
presidential not Democratic
Mhm.
nomination? They mad. They big mad. And they really gonna make us feel it. Y'all saw January 6th. You remember January 6th, 2021? Product
Mhm.
2025 is what you is exactly that. It's truly taking the country back into a place that we've
Mhm.
all worked really hard to move it from. So
So you're saying that there's a chance for us to affect some change around that bleak outlook.
I'm telling you, yes, because they're organized.
Yeah,
They're organized at a local level, which is
sure.
why DEI programs got taken away this year, because a lot of white women went to their state and local legislators and council members
Hmm.
and they sued schools, for having critical race
Oh.
theory in the school. They sued companies for having DEI programs that these white women and white men were not eligible for. That's how DEI programs got
Mhm.
peeled back, because they made it illegal. They questioned the
Mhm.
constitutionality of that at a local level, and now it's at a
Sure,
national level. Do you see?
sure,
That
sure.
all these things that happen that go up to the Supreme Court. These are things that are usually almost always starting at a local level, and then it's
Interesting.
litigated. It's litigated up to the point where it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, because it's appealed. It's appealed at a local level, then it's appealed at a state level, and then it makes it all the way to the Supreme Court, and then now that becomes the law of the land.
Mm, fascinating. Well, I'm learning so much, and I look forward to continuing to learn from you and anyone else you know who wants to hop on the live and
Absolutely. I'm
help
gonna send some folks
educate.
your way. I see I got Washington, I got California. I think who
Yeah,
else?
yeah,
Where are you guys from? So we can send people from your city to be on with Dr. Elam to talk about this
yes,
kind of stuff more in depth. Drop your
yes.
city in the chat so we know who to come for.
Yep, drop your city in the chat. We're going to put this up on YouTube and we're going to repurpose it and we'll put it up on Instagram so everybody will be able to have their voice heard. And that's just the main thing. We want to have people's voices heard. We want to have people who understand the power of their voice and who can make a way forward for more autonomy.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, Dr. Elam, and all of your community for
My
talking with
community.
me and dialoguing around this thing. It's important. I really hope that I was
Yes.
able to share some light into this from a really honest and human point of view, and appreciate your support for our campaign to
Yes.
kind of get this thing going.
Yeah, we here. Yo, I care about autonomy. I care about authenticity. And if it means I got to get out and vote, then that's what it means. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Well,
Let's
we're
do it.
excited and so thankful. And yeah, I look forward to hopefully coming back or sending some more people
Yes.
on your way.
Ye- Yes, Erica, I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much. You enjoy the rest of your
You
day.
too.
All right. Bye. My community. Ooh, we. Yo, this stuff is heavy. Are y'all still with me? It's heavy, yo. This is important. I have a sister. I have a mother. I have aunties. I have cousins who are women. I couldn't imagine one of them hit me up on the phone and be like, yo, I'm pregnant. Well, not my mom. She better not be having no more babies. I couldn't imagine my sister hit me up being like, yo, I need to get an abortion, but I don't know where to go. Would feel so helpless and hopeless for her. So let's do what we can and see what we can do. The 601 to Texas. Let's see what this. Let's see. Let's see. We're gonna bring on another guest. My community, we here. Let's talk this shit. Let's talk this shit, nigga. Yo,
Yo,
my
man,
brother.
what's going on, man?
How are you, man? Tell us your name. How old are you? Where you from? What's good?
Yo, I live in Washington D.C. right now, right? So I'm like in the flood
Okay,
of it. I'm in the mix of it, right?
you're right in the
So
mix.
what I'm about to say is about to upset a lot of people, kind of like what Trump says, upsets a
Wait,
lot of
what's your name? What's your name? Tell us your
people.
name.
Quan, bro, Quan.
Quan. How old are you,
I'm
man?
27.
27. Okay, and you live in DC. What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a commercial truck driver right now.
Okay, so what are your qualifications to speak on what you're about to
Research,
speak on? Okay,
research,
you you done
research,
research. All right.
right? So a lot of people get it confused. They get it misconstrued, man.
Okay.
If we look back,
They get what
the
misconstrued?
whole presidential election play and how the play on people it affects like everybody. So if you paid attention,
Okay.
Kamala for the past 3 to 4 years has been a pretty
Mm-hmm.
quiet vice president, right? We could say that, right? You
Sure.
haven't really seen a lot of her
Mm-hmm.
until that last play where on a Sunday Biden steps down, and then you have this huge play that goes towards the black community, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
this is where we all started to get involved, and we're all looking now. Our eyes are just, hey, what's going on? We got Kamala now, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then the convention, right? I just want the black community to really think about this, right? A presidency determines where billions of dollars of assets and monies go. And in order for her, and what she did to speak to us was bring someone like Megan the Stallion, right, to come and talk to the black community or to come and dance for the black community, not even talk, right? We're talking about billions of dollars over the course of the next 4 years, right? So if we're using Megan the Stallion, right, for a piece of time where,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we need that time legitimately to talk about legitimate problems that the black community has not been able to talk about, has not been able to have fixed. 8 years of Obama, we had gay rights passed. 4 years of Biden. I mean, like we're talking about things that matter. And she said out of her own mouth, right? I'm not going to do anything specifically for the black community, and it makes sense because she's not black, right? And one of her largest donors is the Jewish community. Her husband is a Jewish man. You know what I mean? Her two children are Jewish kids. And so I want people to really think and understand what they're looking at, right? It's called pandering. This is called pandering.
Adem says Trump brought out Hulk Hogan and Amber Rose. What's the
That's what
difference?
it's,
Fuck it.
it's
You got Megan Thee
okay,
Stallion. I got Hulk
thank you.
Hogan. What's
That's
up?
called pandering, right? So that's literally showing how ignorant you guys are, right? So
Wait, and I thought the money was determined by the U.S. Senate,
right.
the
I
U.S.
mean,
not the president elect
well,
themselves,
the
right?
thing is this: is that the president-elect is a part of the executive branch, so you could veto. You have a lot of power in the executive branch. Sure, the Congress and the Senate makes the laws, write the laws, but the president has to be executive and move those laws forward, right? So that still is a lot of power in the executive branch in relation to Congress. And if we're going to talk about Congress, Congress has been the same for years on years, right? So if we're talking about
Right.
Congress, then the problem doesn't lie with the presidency, then, right?
Exactly, which is why I think it's important to have an awareness of who's on your local level. That way you can have okay, no matter whatever what happens, how they're doing it, what can you do from your position to affect change? What does that look like for you?
I mean, there's 2 points to that, right?
Okay.
And I'll make them both. So in the 1960s, Dick Gregory ran for presidency, and he stated that he got 9 million votes in Pennsylvania alone. The machines were rigged for the actual president-elect. So I think the only thing that you can do is possibly get your hands on your local um,
Hmm.
representatives and put
Right.
monies together, right? Because these guys work for monies. What we don't understand is
Sure.
politics is quid pro quo. That's all it has been. It's all it's ever been. It's all it will be, right? If you
Hmm.
can give me money, I can get in that room and do what I can do for you. And that's something the black community has to really wrap their heads around. Is put your money
Right.
together and get a politician, buy one, rent one. I don't care. You rent a politician. You tell them, hey, I'm gonna fund your campaign when you get
Did
this.
you just say
Yeah,
rent a
because
politician?
because politicians are rentable. Because politicians are rentable, right? Because
How much do they cost? How much do those
to the highest
cost?
bidder, right? Look at Kamala. Look at Kamala. What happened when she got on that line, right? Millions of dollars, right?
Oh,
Still won't
that's
do nothing,
funny.
but they're rentable, right? So you rent a politician. You say, hey, I'll fund your campaign, right? Local politician,
Hmm.
I'll fund your campaign. We're gonna come with 10, 15 point stands of the things we want to have done in our local communities, whether
Okay.
that be roads fixed, whether that be more policing, and then you go and do that locally, right? But as far as
Hmm.
the presidency goes, we've already seen since the 1960s and 70s, just the way these elections are really rigged, right? And I ask people, we're $1 trillion economy. If I was a part of a bank that allowed the idiots at the bottom to choose who would be the CEO of my bank, I put my money, right? And that's just how you have to look at things, right? And I
Hmm.
try not to say these type of things because it makes you kind of look crazy to the public. But at this point in time, I really don't care because the public is the place that's been pandered to. It's just ignorance being ran around, spread around. And all I can say is, if you want to make change and affect change, all I'd say is work with your local politicians, man. Find you
Okay.
and a guy, and I mean really organized, right? And that's something the black community has a huge problem with is
Sure.
organization. We don't have organization, and since we don't have organization, we can't get money in we can't get money in any politician's hands. If you can't get money in the politician's hands, nobody cares what you have to say, right? And that's just a
Yeah.
blank period reality. You cannot get money into these politicians' hands. Segregation and redlining. Segregation and redlining has been a part of the community of America's society before the '60s. Um, it was changed in the '60s. If you want to change those type of things, then you're talking about really you're talking about really going out there and
Hmm.
you got to be ready to do what those people in the '60s did, right? And that's a conversation that black people aren't ready to have either, right? Like,
I'm
you know
with
what I'm
you.
saying?
I don't know if I'm ready to be out there
Right, right.
picketing and doing all that stuff, but I will, at the very least, learn my local legislative representatives, and I will put my money where my mouth is when it comes to having an awareness around autonomy and authenticity. Yo, 601 to Texas. I appreciate your time, bro. Really do.
Yeah, for sure.
Tap in with me. We're gonna be having some more guests. So if you want to tap in again, let me know and we'll do
Gotcha,
that.
bro.
All right, bro. Take it easy, man. My community. Ooh, we. Oof. Politics make me want to take a drink. That's juice, y'all. What do you guys think about this? I'm not, like I said, I'm not big into politics. That's not what I don't care about that. I'm a traveling dentist that actually likes to travel the world. I love hopping on the plane outside of America and seeing what's good, but I care about authenticity and sovereignty and being able to have choice on what is happening to your body. Y'all are crazy. Said Trump gonna keep us safe more than I don't even know enough to know what y'all are talking about is real or not. But I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna do my research before I make a decision, and at the very least that's all I can do. So stay tuned. This is gonna be a good week. I want to learn more. This is just the first installment of many. I'm about to hop over to TikTok and do a live there. I want to talk to my community on TikTok. You guys are here. You haven't seen me on TikTok before. Hop over. We're gonna go there right now. Actually, I'm gonna go there in a couple of minutes because it's important to spread the word about what we can do to help other people have sovereignty and autonomy with their bodies. Now, I'm a man in America, so I have different uh, opportunities to have autonomy. Like I'm not trying to get an abortion. I can't do that, so I don't have to worry about that. But I can do my part by having protected sex, getting a vasectomy, just making sure that I don't impregnate someone accidentally, because that's really where the crux of the matter is. And I will preach. It's men's decision to have a child or not women. Women don't get to decide whether they want a kid or not. Men get to decide where they put that stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, you guys tap in, holla at me, slide in my DMs. If you guys got any more questions, let me know.